Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you are new to my channel, my name is Paris and this is my birth story. Let's just get right into the story because a lot of you guys requested that I talk about this. Even though I did film a vlog, I did have a lot of little things missing from the vlog. Like there were times I wasn't filming or there were just little things I didn't explain. I actually already guessed Rain was going to be born on March 6th. About a week before or 2 weeks before. I kept saying I keep feeling something about March 6th. Every time I looked at my calendar, my eyes would go straight to March 6th and I was just like, Lord, like why are you keep showing me March 6th? But I just kept feeling it. And I'm going to start the story from March 3rd. We have about 3 people in between me and Nick's family that have the birthday March 3rd. So everyone was hoping that the baby would be born on March 3rd. And I said, no. I want my baby to have her own birthday. How are we going to celebrate everyone's birthday if everyone's birthday is on March 3rd? So I was just like, let me just have my baby on a different day. I had a doctor's appointment. That was where I was getting my cervix checked for the first time. Let me tell you, getting your cervix checked, I was very terrified to do it. I just wasn't sure what it was gonna feel like, and if you're wondering what that feels like, it literally feels like someone is, you know, pretty much fisting you. Like that's the best way I can put it. So she checked my cervix and she stretched it a little bit and she's like, oh, have you been crampy? And I was like, yeah. I'm sitting here thinking like I'm maybe 1 centimeter dilated. She's like, you're 3 centimeters dilated. Oh, for those of you who don't know, you need to be 10 centimeters in order to push. Yeah, I was like 3. Okay, I'm 3 centimeters. She's like, I stretched your cervix a little bit, hopefully to progress, but the baby is probably gonna come this week. Are you ready? I said, I mean, yeah, I have all the things I need, but it's not about having the things you need. It's about mentally preparing, like, oh my god, this baby can actually come, maybe even tonight. So she told me that if the baby doesn't come by Monday, that my induction will be for Monday. So the reason I was getting induced, I can explain in another video. Basically, throughout my pregnancy, something I did not share is that I actually was being monitored. So I wasn't necessarily high risk, but there were different reasons for me to be monitored. That's just a whole other story in itself. However, she's like, you're probably not even going to make it to your induction date. You're probably going to end up in the hospital in the next couple of days. So as soon as I got downstairs and got in the car, I looked at Nick and I said, I'm 3 centimeters. She said the baby can come in the next couple of days. So yeah, so we immediately went to Costco and started buying all of these like frozen meals, things that we can just throw in the oven or in the air fryer, because we knew when the baby came we weren't gonna have as much time to just be chefing it up. That day passed, the baby still didn't come. I was happy because now I knew she wasn't gonna share her birthday. Then March 4th, started having contractions. I wasn't even sure if they were actual contractions because they just felt like cramps, like period cramps, and then my belly would really tighten. I was starting to have them every 10 minutes. My belly started to feel even harder, like it felt like a rock. I also lost my mucus plug. Mucus plug, if you don't know, is basically something that covers the opening of the cervix and kind of prevents the baby from being exposed to any kind of infection. I'm calling my mom, I'm like, I think I'm having contractions every 10 minutes. She's on the phone with me timing them and she's like, I can tell by the way you're breathing you're having contractions. You're probably gonna go to the hospital tonight, if not tomorrow morning. And she came over and just helped me get like everything in Rain's room ready. We started to get my hospital bag like completely ready, even though I pretty much packed it. There were like little last minute things I hadn't thrown in there, like, just in case. And again, nothing happened that day. In the middle of the night, I started to have contractions, more like 5 minutes apart. I was like, I have no idea if I'm actually contracting. Yes, and these are contractions, but I was just like, they're not painful, but they're every 5 minutes apart. I was like, you know what? Let me wait it out because if it's urgent, my body will wake me up. I decided, okay, I'm going to bed. Let me get some rest. So that was like 1 in the morning. Moving on to the very next day, March 5th. In the morning, we woke up around 6 a.m. I remember walking around the parking lot in our building and trying to like get my contractions like up a little more because they were still 5 minutes apart, sometimes 3, but again, they still weren't hurting. And my biggest thing was I did not want to be sent home from the hospital. Because if I was going to be sent home, I didn't want to come home and an hour later I'm like way down the line in my labor and having to rush to the hospital and not have, you know, option for the epidural, the chance. I wanted to have the option. I also had an appointment, actually, an ultrasound at 10:45 that morning. My thing was, do I wait till my appointment or do I just go to the hospital? I was like, screw this, I'm going to the hospital. We got to the hospital and we go to triage. So in triage, this is where they assess you, pretty much monitor the baby and you for about 20 30 minutes, and they see how your contractions are, they see how the baby's doing. Then from there they make decisions. They check my cervix. I'm here, yo, I'm gonna be 6 centimeters at least. I know I'm gonna be at least 6. And she was like, no, this is more like 3 or 4. So you mean to tell me it's Friday and I was checked on Wednesday and I haven't progressed at all in the last 2 days? And they're just like, yeah, I'm sorry, like, you're only 3 centimeters. You can stick around the hospital, walk around until your appointment. I'm like, yeah, I guess, but like, I've been having my contractions pretty consistently. By the way, they do ask you if it's painful, and I said it is, even though it was like I was really tolerating it very well. If you say certain things, they can send you home. So I was like, I want to make sure they see, like, I know everyone's pain tolerance is different. She comes back and she's like, we're actually gonna keep you, walk around for about an hour until we get you a room, and if you don't progress very much for the next couple hours, then we're going to induce you. Because I was already going to be induced on Monday, I guess, based off how I was progressing or not progressing, I guess you could say, they were like not gonna want to just send me home just to bring me back on Monday. Because I was already in pre-labor, they said it is much better to be in pre-labor and be induced than not be in labor at all and be induced. Yeah, we walk around for about like an hour, maybe an hour and a half. My labor nurse comes. Love her. She takes us into the room. She put an IV and she told me, we're gonna start you on your oxytocin. So the oxytocin is basically what was to progress the labor. She told me to be prepared because this is gonna increase my contractions, so it will probably hurt. I'm just chilling. I don't remember what I was doing. I might have been watching something. I was just chilling and all of a sudden I feel water gushing out. It was so uncomfortable. It was the weirdest feeling. I just feel fluids just coming out, and I said to Nick, oh my god, I think my water just broke. Like, I just feel gushiness coming out. The OB that was on call comes in to check my cervix. Mind you, this is like hours from when I got checked in triage. She tells me, you're 4 centimeters. 4 centimeters. So basically what I was earlier, I haven't progressed, is what they're telling me. Everyone leaves, we're chilling again. My contractions are increasing and increasing, and it's starting to get very uncomfortable. I was getting a lot of back pain from it. I was having more back contractions, and I knew that was gonna happen to me because I've always had back issues. The contractions just keep getting worse and worse and worse. I can barely talk to anyone. People are talking to me and I'm just like, you're talking to me, but it's going in one ear and out the other because I'm not processing anything you're saying. My nurse comes and tells me, well, the anesthesiologist is available right now, so do you want the epidural? And I said, I feel like a wimp if I'm getting it and I'm only still 4 centimeters. And she was just like, you know, honestly, you got oxytocin, so that is what's gonna make your contractions increase and feel a bit worse. I just like was sitting there thinking, and she's like, you know, just think about, you still have time, like, till you progress. We can definitely wait. I'm gonna do whatever you want me to do. But she did really want me to remember, like, I still have a long way to go. And she was saying, I can see how uncomfortable you are, but again, if it's in your wishes to wait longer or to not even get it, then do that. I was like, yo, she's right, because I'm only 4 centimeters. I still have 6 more to go. I don't know how bad it's gonna get later, and I'm already only having like 30 seconds to recover between each contraction. I said, get me the anesthesiologist then, because if she's only available now, she might be busy later for what, emergency C-section. She might be busy with another mother. Like, I was just like, just bring her to me and I will take the epidural. So I'm starting to be a little more relaxed because I know this pain is gonna go away soon. But little did I know was I was gonna hate getting the epidural. So getting the epidural was not painful. I do think that needle where they kind of like numb the area is a little bit, like, it's like a bee sting, I think is what they tell you. It's like a little sting. However, I discovered during getting my epidural that I have mild scoliosis. Very, very, very mild. It's the slightest curve right at the bottom. And they asked me if I knew that, and I was like, honestly, I've kind of suspected it for a while. but like I've gone to chiropractors and things like that about back pain, and no one ever told me that. But I always felt like something off about my back. The anesthesiologist is struggling to get this thing in my back. They had to like put it the slightest bit to the side compared to where they usually put the needle. It took like 30 minutes to get it done because you have to hunch over, you got a belly there, you cannot move, you can't be tense, and I tend to tense up a lot, so I had to keep relaxing and forcing my body to like keep it like my shoulders down because I kept going like that. The lady kept saying like, you need to stay still, you need to stay still, you need to relax because I'm going in your spine, like this is very dangerous. And I'm just like, I know, like I'm trying my best here. That was the most stressful part of my entire labor. Contractions were really bad, yes, but getting the epidural was very stressful for me. And I told Nick, for our next babies, I am not even afraid to give birth. I'm not afraid to go through the contractions, even though I will probably get the epidural again. The epidural is the one thing I'm most afraid of getting again. Thankfully, they told me all of this, and that's for my next babies, just to let them know that I have mild scoliosis, and hopefully they will get like a different anesthesiologist. After all of that, the epidural like kicks in after a while. Time's going, I was still 4 centimeters by like 6 p.m. I'm just going in and out of sleep, and it was hard because, you know, the nurses are coming in and out, but not just that. I'm starting to get really uncomfortable. My back is hurting from being in the bed. There was a time where I started to get really drowsy. I wasn't taking anything. I just had the epidural. I think the nurse kept talking to me and I was just like not even paying attention. That's how drowsy I was. Like I didn't even know she was talking to me. All of a sudden, I feel so nauseated and I'm just like, someone please grab me something. They grab me like a bucket and I start puking. I felt so much better, and I've heard that before, that if you throw up when you're in labor, you just feel like this relief. My contractions were starting to come in clusters. So basically what that means is my contractions were coming back to back. I'd have like 2-3 contractions and then I would have a break. And then I'd have 2-3 contractions again, and then I'd have a break. My epidural was helping, but because of how frequent and intense my contractions were, I started to feel this pressure in my belly. Like it felt more like a gas pain, like I had to like fart basically. I kept telling my nurse like, I don't know, but I don't know if it's epidural because I'm up in my epidural. You get a little button where you can get more epidural when you start to feel something. Obviously they have a limit of how many times you can press it. Around 1 or 2 a.m. it's now March 6th, they come and check me again. I'm 10 centimeters, but they said we're not gonna let you push yet because the baby's still a little high. Just let her come down, because if you start pushing now, you're gonna be pushing for at least an hour or even more. We waited for the baby to come down more, and once she did, I started to feel even more pressure, that same like gas pain feeling. And she's like, okay, let's start pushing. So they do like practice pushes with you. It's really just to see how well you do, or to see if they need to like tweak anything or teach you how to do something different. So I only really pushed for 30 minutes. It was great because I got the experience of, I got the mirror for a little bit. As you guys saw from the video, I did get a mirror. I only watched myself push for like 1 push because I was like, no, I don't want to watch the whole time. Nick even came around and he came right in front and saw me push, which was very interesting. I actually asked my nurse to keep touching that area so that I know exactly where to push, because you know, with epidural you can't exactly feel too much. She was encouraging me so much and telling me like, you're doing such a good job and you're first time mom. There's like a point when the doctors come when your baby has come down quite a bit. Your delivery nurses are the ones doing it, and then the doctor starts to come. We actually asked the doctor if Nick can help out with pulling the baby out, because I've heard so many stories about moms doing it, and it wasn't until one person's video where I heard their OB ask the dad. I was like, that is such a good idea, let me ask the doctor. So Nick got some gloves, he was ready, he helped pull Rain out and placed her on my chest. To this day, I think about that moment of her coming out. Like, she was actually in there. She came out and now she's just here living life. Like, she's alive and she's here. Like, it's so crazy to me. The first thing I noticed was her head looked kind of like coney looking, like it was cone shaped, and I knew it was gonna go down. but I was just like, that was the first thing I saw. I'm like, whoa. It's just because, you know, when babies come out, it just allows for them to come out of the birth canal properly, right? She's crying. Oh, she didn't even cry for that long either. She kind of was just like, oh, she just looks around and stuff. Like, she looks so different, by the way. She doesn't even look like the way she looked when I had her. But yeah, that is my birth story, giving birth to my little baby Rainy. One of the most amazing experiences of my life. I'm so glad that I filmed it too, so I can just go back and watch it whenever I feel like it. So please like this video if you haven't already, and if you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button below so you do not miss a video. I will see you guys in the next video.